Hey everybody, Gary with Basecamp Trading. Let's take a look at some of the things we look for that help us decide whether we want to enter a trade off of a bull or bear flag. This is the 30-minute chart in crude today, and this was a trade that we took in the room today. And this is how it's set up. You can see that crude pushed down during the London session, and then kept leaving these bottoming tails on the 30-minute chart and bouncing off this 200 EMA, and then it pushed higher. You can see we actually pushed higher, broke above the 50, didn't stay. As we know, the 50 and 200 are significant support and resistance zones. We rarely stay above or below on the first trip above or below. But you can see that crude kind of got messy actually, leaving this topping and bottoming tails, big giant dojis. But technically had set up a bull flag. Histograms had gone positive. We had the push higher, set up the bull flag, but not a good setup. We don't want to see a topping tail like this when we're looking at the setup bar. We want the bar to be a bullish bar. And you can see these flags, they never triggered, but even if they had, these are not flags we want to take. We don't want to see the setup bar having these topping tails. And on 30-minute chart, I don't want to see the 5 being under the 13 if I'm looking to go long. But then we got this bar right here. And this is the bar we are looking for. You can see this bar open right here at the bottom and then close almost at the top, back above a resistance line. The breakout needs to be above or below resistance or support. And this met the criteria. Strong bullish bar, opened at the bottom, closed at the top, above resistance, caused the 5 and the 13 to cross to the upside. This bar also caused the 5 and 13 to cross to the upside. And then the next bar triggered it. And this was the type of trigger bar we want to see. We want to see a really strong bullish trigger, and that's exactly what we got here. This bar opened right here, tested this 50 EMA one more time, little wick underneath there, and then pushed higher and triggered us into this 30-minute bull flag. And you can see that this bar was another strong bullish bar, basically opened at the bottom, little tiny wick right there, and then closed right near the top. This is a strong trigger bar. So this is what we're looking for. The other thing is we're looking for a momentum confirmation. And you can see right here, we had a bullish inflection. See how the histograms, they went down, but they stayed green the entire time. And then they moved back up. And then as we were triggering this bar, our histograms were moving back up, triggering this bullish inflection. So we had a strong bullish setup, causing the 5 and 13 to cross to the upside, breaking above resistance, and momentum confirmation. So this is a really good 30-minute bull flag to take. Here's an example of a bearish trade. This is a 5-minute chart, but same thing. You can see right here, we put in kind of a trend reversal breakout, price pushed down, had a really strong bearish bar to the downside, followed by another strong bearish bar to the downside, followed by another fairly bearish bar to the downside, a little bit of a bottoming tail, but not much. And then we consolidated right here. The setup bar, this was a very small pullback right here. Wasn't much of a pullback. The bar was bearish. The whole body of that bar was selling. The 5 and the 18 had already crossed to the downside. And then when we were triggering this, we were actually breaking below support right here. And you can see triggered by another really strong bearish bar. Open right there at the top, close way down here at the bottom. Also confirmed by momentum. You can see that we had a bearish inflection on momentum at the same time that this bear flag was triggering. And so this is another really strong bearish bear flag setup. And that's what we look for when we're taking flags. We don't want to see the trigger bar, for example, push down and then leave a big bottoming tail and either close back up here or maybe even close back above where the trigger was. That's not a good trigger. You get a trigger like that, you probably are going to want to exit that trade. Those tend not to follow through very well. But this is a really good example of exactly what we're looking for. A nice strong bearish move to the downside, small pullback, triggered by another really strong bearish bar to the downside with momentum confirmation. So just a couple examples of what we look for when we're triggering flags.